Are you and your family prepared if disaster strikes? Well, here to make sure we're safe is the author of When Technology Fails, a manual for self-reliance and planetary survival. Please welcome Matthew Stein.
Hey, Matt. Welcome.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing terrific.
We need to know, how prepared do we really need to be?
Well, preparedness is like car insurance. You hope you're never going to be in a wreck, but you want to have that insurance, and preparedness is the same way. We live in earthquake country. The people in Kobe, Japan, the people in Hurricane Katrina, if they'd had a kit like this, they would have been in much better shape.
Welcome back. Well, we live in earthquake country. We live in wildfire state. We know wind and rainstorms can knock down trees and knock out power, and we all know we should be prepared to survive. And most of us are not. Okay, new year, new leaf. Where to begin? Well, here with a quick 5 things you can do and then some to survive a disaster is mechanical engineer Matthew Stein, author of When Technology Fails. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me on your show today.
Well, it's good to have you here, and what you may give us in the next couple of minutes could save somebody's life. You don't know.
Good morning. It's the KPFA Morning Show. I'm Amy Allison on your Friday, November 7th. Now, according to my next guest, Matthew Stein, we could all stand to take some cues from our grandparents in how to deal with our current economic crisis. So, Matthew Stein, it's good to have you.
Well, thanks a lot for having me on the show today.
Now, your book, in its second edition, is entitled When Technology Fails, a Manual for Self-Reliance, Sustainability, and Surviving the Long Emergency. It's really a how-to book, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a real practical how-to book. There's a lot of fascinating information in there, really great anecdotes. For a practical encyclopedic book, it's a really good read. People tell me they read it cover to cover, and it's really huge, but it's very fascinating. It was fun to put together.
You say there's an exercise called the pit of the stomach exercise. What is that?
In a situation that's life or death, often you just don't have all the information to figure out with your head what you should do. You think, should I go, I'm lost in the woods. Should I follow the ridge? Should I follow the river? Which way do I go? Pit of the stomach gets you in touch with your intuition, bypasses your thinking mind, so you can feel out the solution. You take a few deep breaths. Just feel really deep breaths and focus your mind on the pit of your stomach. Okay. Don't think in your head. And keep breathing until you feel it relax. It clears the mind and it gets you focused on this part of your body, right here in your stomach. Make sure it feels relaxed and calm. Then what you do, step number 2, is you picture, your question is, what do I want to do, A or B? So you picture A. If it's, do I go downstream, down the river? Picture in your mind going downstream, down the river. And keep feeling here, the pit of your stomach, and see if you feel it tighten up and feel clenched, or if you feel kind of an expanded, relaxed feeling. Take a few more deep breaths till you feel it relaxed, till you're not thinking about anything. Then picture B, like, should I stay up on the ridge where someone can see me? And picture that, and again feel it. And if you feel it tighten up and clench, then you know that's not the way to go.
Matthew Stein, welcome to the Bob Rivers Show. How are you?
Thanks a lot, Bob. It's a pleasure to be here today.
When Technology Fails, the way I view this book, by the way, hopefully it's tongue-in-cheek about the end of society and the fact that you have the whole world burning on the cover. I hope it's just a cool manual for guys about how to do stuff that our fathers probably and our grandfathers used to remember how to do, and we don't know, right?
Well, it's split. It's the Bible for emergency preparedness and survival combined with green and healthy living. 1997, I'd had a 20-year practice of prayer and meditation. I just asked for guidance and inspiration, kind of dumb question. And I got this bomb dropped on me, call it a vision. It was like a storyboard outline for the book. And it kind of hit me really strong because I thought if I was dropped in the middle of the Amazon basin, for instance, I realized I couldn't do a thing.
You might not survive.
I might not survive, and I certainly couldn't replicate my society, even at an 18th century primitive level. So this book is about giving us the knowledge that our grandparents had combined with modern-day knowledge. It's like the best of the low-tech world and the best of the high-tech world.
Okay, let's talk about water. That's your lifeline. That's going to
Water is critical. Most of us, you might not believe it, but most of us can live for a month without food. But in hot weather, one single day without water, and we're in major trouble. Average person needs about a gallon a day in hot weather. So if you have 3 gallons for 3 days, that's 24 pounds. Say you had a family of 4, that's 100 pounds of water. Couldn't carry that on your back.
No way.
So what I suggest you have is water filters and water treatment. In an earthquake in San Francisco, if the water supply busts, which a large earthquake will do, we'll be drinking out of the water in the duck ponds. And I personally wouldn't want to drink that unless I'd run it through my filter and treated it with chemicals both.
Okay.
Peak Moment Television, bringing you examples of positive responses to energy decline and climate change through local community action.
Hi, welcome to Peak Moment. I'm Janaea Donaldson. If you and your family had to evacuate, there's a hurricane, there's a flood, there's a wildfire. If you had to evacuate and be away from your home, would you be prepared to do that in just a short few hours? That's what we're going to talk about today. My guest is Matt Stein, the author of When Technology Fails. Matt, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
One of the chapters in your book is about just that, emergency preparation.
That's right. Emergency preparation, you know, you never know when you might need it. And if you happen to need it, you thank God you took a few hours to put together your kit. And you know, when you have to evacuate, it might be 2 minutes. So one of the things in my book that I talk about is a 72-hour grab-and-run kit. Something that you can grab, throw on your back, throw on the back of your car, and be out of there.
Let's go through 5 tips that you hope everybody will remember, whether or not they've done the pit in the stomach thing or not, if you have some kind of disaster that's right at your door here. First of all, you say, have a plan with the family. All right, we've heard this before. Sit down and say, where will you go if you're in school, and where will we go if you're at work, and all of that. But do you have to revisit that from time to time?
Yes, it's good to revisit it, and I have tips for a specific plan on my website and in my book. One is that you think of an out-of-town contact. Often in a disaster, the phone lines are down, you can't call anybody locally, but there's someone out of town. So say you're separated from your family, the phone lines are down, power lines are down, you all call Mary Jo.
My sister-in-law in South Carolina.
And by communicating with that out-of-town person, you can figure out where to go. Second thing is that you have a place to meet locally. If you're separated, maybe it's the schoolyard. That's a whistle. And people say, well, why would I need a whistle? And you need a whistle because when your mouth is dry and you've been out in the woods, you can't yell, you can't scream. Right. And with a whistle, you can always blow and you can alert somebody that they're there. I mean,
yes,
imagine.
I found you. You're okay.
Imagine, though, you know, somebody's looking for you, and if you don't have a whistle, you might not be able to tell them you're there.
Right. We'll survive anything with your book, When Technology Fails. Matthew Stein, thank you so much for saving us.
And the book is called When Technology Fails. We all depend on it, but sometimes it doesn't work. You can learn more about Matt Stein and his ideas at whentechfails.com. That's whentechfails.com. Thanks, Matt.